New coworker revealed he's been with my fiancé. Me, 30 million, and my fiancé, 29F, have been together since we were 19 and 18 and went through secondary school together. I've had a few girlfriends before that, but nothing compared to this, obviously. In March, our team in work expanded and we brought on new folk. I'm mechanical and James is electrical, so we'd be coming into contact regularly on projects. We got to know each other and he knew a few folk from where I'm from and vice versa. He asked who I was with and how long, etc., which, at the time, I thought was quite quick to ask that, but didn't think further into it. I also only really use first names when talking to F about people from work, so she still doesn't fully know who it actually is I'm working with. At the start of June, the work put on a summer night out. We do this as well as a Christmas one. We were out late and F was going to pick me up from town as the remaining ones of us missed the last trains from Central. I asked James if he was wanting a lift, to which he said, "That can't happen and we need to talk about why." It took me by surprise but didn't mention it in the car as we were dropping off two of my workmates, so we're talking all the way about other stuff. The week after in the office, James messages on Teams asking what I'm doing for lunch. Once again, odd since I sit with the mechanical team and he sits with the electrical guys for the most part. He then savs we're heading to a wee cafe a few streets away from the office. I meet him near the building's main reception, and he isn't his usual joke self and is in a serious, somber tone. We walk there not saying much, and I now know why. When we're there, just us two, James reveals that he was with my partner for a while. F went to Ibiza with her friends when we were 23/22. Turns out they spent most of the holiday with each other, and there's pictures to prove it, none of which I've ever seen before, of course. He then tells me they got back together after the turn of the year, about 6 to 7 months from Ibiza, and were together FWB for another 6 months roughly. This started as she told him she was leaving me and asked to meet. This never happened, and I've never had an incline of this ever. At this point, I had finished uni and working full-time, and they both hadn't. So I could see by all the times on the texts that it was during my working hours or when I was away supporting the football or playing for the Sunday League team I then played for. The one that has hurt the most is one in which we were playing a regional semi-cup final. I remember her saying she was working and couldn't change shifts, so couldn't make the Saturday 12 kickoff. I've now found out this was a complete lie and that they were on a day out at Loch Lomond. There's even a pic of her feeding ducks time stamped 13:11 when I was roughly 10 minutes into the second half of the game. It hurt a bit back then that she couldn't make it and the others' partners could. I now can't comprehend it. Everything he said is indisputable as it can be backed up by messages and images. On top of all this, her friends knew. I know this at least about Ibiza as they're in some of the pictures. These are people I've also known for nearly 20 years now. One who I look after their kids when I'm working from home and who call me uncle. We're to go on holiday at the start of next week and I can't face it. I'm looking at possible therapy, but I'd like to do it alone first. I've known this stuff for a month now and I don't even know where to begin with dealing with it. Honestly, I feel like I'm about to have a meltdown, like Michael Douglas in Falling Down. If I don't get this out to someone other than James in a week, I'm going to implode. Update. Here's the update many of you have been waiting for. I confronted her once I was home on Friday. Surprisingly, she didn't do what many of you thought would happen and deny it. She said she feared the past would catch up with her. Her excuse was she was having second thoughts about being with me after Ibiza and came to the realization I was the one. She couldn't believe that I had already made up my mind and that it was over. I was surprised that she admitted to everything. She said that her friends didn't know about the intimate stuff in Ibiza and that they didn't know about it after, which I frankly don't care about, as I won't be seeing them again anyways. She said she deserves whatever happens and understands if I air it out to anyone, which I'd prefer not to do, but I want her to tell her friends exactly why. The solicitor will be dealing with the house starting tomorrow. A plus about all this is we're $68,000 in equity. And that's before all the work we done on it, so at least I may be mortgage-free if I decide to get a flat. I'm staying in my mate's spare room for now until I get everything else sorted. Funnily enough, James said I can have his spare room for as long as I want, but it's a fair bit away from everyone else I know, so I declined. Finally, does anyone have any